What's up everyone, it's SmugStick. Welcome to a new part in this scenario of What If Super Buu Was Good. Previously, Goku and Vegeta successfully convinced Buu into going to Beerus' planet to help them train, and slowly Super Buu has become incredibly strong because of it. So much so that the Universe 6 tournament included him as one of the fighters, although he had to absorb Gotenks in order to pass the written exam. Super Buu's ability to regenerate and copy abilities made him a great rival for Hit, whom he had been observing for a long time, using a very early version of the time skip to use against Hit, ultimately defeating him. Unknown to him, a Kaioshin from a different universe has been watching the battles, and now sees Goku and Buu as threats to godhood. The Zero Mortal plan starts now. Buu was sleeping at Mr. Satan's place, while at Capsule Corp a time machine landed. Future Trunks had returned and sought help against the evil known as Goku Black. Goku and Vegeta were ready to help Trunks just like the original story, but it would still take a little bit of time to repair the time machine after Goku Black appeared and destroyed it. While they waited, Goku investigated Zamasu with Beerus, while Vegeta trained Trunks. Buu eventually woke up during this time, as Vegeta sought his help to train Trunks. If they were going to have to fight Kakarot, then maybe Buu could try and mimic some of his moves. Trunks was surprised to see what Buu looked like. He never actually got to lay eyes on him since they stopped his birth just in time. As they battled Buu, who pretended to act like Goku, Trunks saw just how similar he actually was to Black. The way he moved and acted, it was unnerving. Could Buu truly be trusted? Even Vegeta himself still wasn't sure, but he had been great help so far. And eventually, the time to go to the future arrived. Buu wasn't really impressed, and he didn't really want to go to the future, but he promised to do so as long as you subscribe. And a destroyed future meant a lot of destroyed buildings waiting to be turned into candy. And Buu did turn things into candy just as he arrived, much to Trunks' disdain. Looks like they have less cover now, but above that, it drew the attention of Goku Black. He arrived with a sadistic smirk, even stronger than the last time they met. But he was surprised to see Buu. Had they really teamed up with that terrible force of nature? Are there really no lows mortals won't sink to? But none of them listened, as they rushed in at Black. The fight was intense and extremely difficult, even more so than in the original story. Buu tried to help as well, but it was as if Black knew everything Buu was going to do. As Vegeta and Black clashed blasts, Buu appeared behind Black and wrapped himself around him, keeping him in place as the blast came his way. With no chance to escape, Buu let go just in time. It was a stray hit, surely that had done it. But as the smoke dissipated, Goku Black was seen in an awful state, melting away into pink bits. Everyone was left in awe as he began to rebuild himself back up. Black began to laugh. What they saw was just a facade, because this Goku Black didn't switch bodies with Goku. Instead, he switched bodies with Majin Buu, and then proceeded to absorb Goku. He knew that if he ever crossed paths with Buu, he would be extremely troublesome, so he thought ahead. Similarly to the Grand Kaioshin and Majin Buu switching places during the Moro arc, Black is using Goku's appearance as opposed to the grotesque form of Buu. Zamasu wasn't planning on stealing Buu's body at first. He cared more about Goku and what he represented with his Super Saiyan God. But Buu, a bastardization of life, who's actually murdered gods, and whose god key did not belong to him, angered him a lot more. Buu exploded in rage, steam pouring out of his head. He went in to attack Black without hesitation, but he had never fought himself like this. From extending limbs, copying abilities, there was no way for Buu to be unpredictable. But Buu did have one thing over Black. He had more control over all of it. Buu used his body in creative ways, such as turning himself into a ball, digging underground, appearing in various places, etc. Black was too proud to do any of that. And so, despite Black maybe being stronger, it forced him back into the defensive. It seemed like it was all over, but just then a second blast hit a tower. It was Zamasu. It was clear that Buu was getting too desperate and upset about this now, and he started to do worse and worse against Black. Above that, the Z fighters now had to try and avoid Zamasu. For some reason, however, Black wasn't trying to absorb them. In reality, Black hated these mortals so much that even just having to use Goku as part of his body disgusted him. With Buu, at least he could sense some remnants of God Ki, and with him not actually being immortal, it made him feel a little better.
I am above all mortals and all gods, don't you see? That's why you're afraid, Majin Buu. The Grand Kaioshin of Universe 7 lost, absorbed by you. You can have God Ki, but it doesn't belong to you. You should be glad that someone such as myself decided to use your body for a purpose greater than anything you were born to do.
Buu screamed out and rushed once more, launching a barrage of Kamehamehas. But Black responded by exploding his power into a new form. His aura sizzled into a pink one. Super Saiyan Rosé.
What do you think of this color? I've even claimed it as my own.
The Z-Fighters were only getting hurt, with Buu enraged and bloodlusted. He was now a danger to everyone. They needed to retreat. What's more, the revelation of Zamasu being immortal meant that they needed to figure out a way to lock away the Kai. Without a choice, Goku grabbed Trunks, Vegeta, Buu, and Mai and teleported wherever he could find some key. They reappeared underground alongside some survivors, but Buu was livid. His steam quickly covered the room as Goku and the others tried to calm him down. Goku yelled at Buu that they can defeat Black and get payback, but that getting angrier isn't going to help them. Buu wouldn't listen. Something very bad could happen if they didn't calm him down. Realizing that what Zamasu said was indeed true, he could sense an intense amount of God Ki within Buu. It was very strange, almost similar to Zamasu's own. Nothing was working, but Trunks slowly approached Buu. He didn't know why, but Buu reminded him of someone. He reached out to him, placing a hand on his shoulder. It burned Trunks, but Buu's eyes shifted to look at him. Reflected in them, he could see a Kai. Slowly, Buu began to calm down. In reality, as the Dragon Ball Super manga explains, Trunks had undergone a Kaioshin initiation ritual when he trained with Shin. It's not the same as getting your potential unlocked. Instead, this one makes you a Kai in training. This connection between Trunks and the Kais within Buu seemed to calm him down, which surprised everyone. But they didn't have time to ruminate on it, as they heard explosions coming from the outside. Trunks told Goku and Vegeta that they needed to move and find a way to stop Zamasu. He would stay behind. But not just that, he also asked for Buu to stay. They were confused. Surely he would be a liability with his anger. Trunks shook his head. It's hard enough to protect the world without any help. Buu would be a great asset. The team agreed. They headed to the surface, popping the capsule containing the time machine. Just then, Black and Zamasu spotted them and sought to stop them. But the more calm Buu was able to move better and try new things out. But it was obvious that Black and Zamasu were more focused on Goku and Vegeta. In a desperate move, as Buu and Trunks blocked a powerful blast together, Trunks turned to the side and yelled at Buu to use his power. But before being absorbed, Trunks made Buu promise to release him after. The Majin appreciated the trust put in him, despite everything. As Buu, Trunks absorbed, appeared at the battle site. He launched a burst cannon that finally pushed back Black and Zamasu. Vegeta and Goku boarded the ship, and so, the time machine disappeared. Goku and Vegeta did what they could in the past. Vegeta trained in the time chamber while Goku went off to take care of President Zamasu. The plan was obvious, using the Mafuba. As Buu continued to battle against Black, he gained a lot more tactical knowledge thanks to Trunks. He knew when to escape and when to challenge his enemy, hiding his presence to strike at critical moments. He kept Mai and the other humans safe, even if Mai was terrified of the situation. Black was getting tired of it, but he pursued Buu again through the landscape, until eventually the time machine returned. Goku and Vegeta were ready to challenge them again, and a small battle started, where Black had to admit just how much Goku and Vegeta had actually improved since the last time. He would kill their families just like he killed Chi-Chi, Goten, Gohan, and Mr. Satan. When Buu realized that Mr. Satan had been killed using his body, several pink blasts came Black's way. He turned to look, but no one was there. Instead, Buu came crashing down from the sky and threw Zamasu with his sword. This was the opening Goku was searching for, as he unleashed the Mafuba, with Buu jumping out of the way, but it was no use. Despite the successful move, the lack of seal allowed Zamasu to escape, but he was livid. He didn't care about morality anymore. He demanded that Black absorbs the other fighters and get this over with, but Black refused. He already suffered the fate of using immortals and a Majin's body to accomplish his goals. He hated having stooped to this level, while Buu took the chance to heal Goku and Vegeta in secret. He did have another idea, but it was very risky. Zamasu then snaps out of it, seeing that Goku and the others were recovering, going in for an attack. He yells at Black once again that they need to absorb them now, but Black was over the edge in anger and desperation. The Z-Fighter's eyes widened as Black deforms from Goku and back into Super Buu, only to launch parts of his chest into Zamasu, consuming him and absorbing him. Goku was left in shock. How could he betray his friend like that? Well, not even a friend, himself. There was a great storm of energy that swirled around Black as his body was reformed stronger than ever before, but he didn't look look right. He looked like a monster mix of Buu, with Zamasu and Goku faces popping out of various places on his body, as if they were trying to escape. Spikes protruded from Buu and into every direction, striking Vegeta and the others, piercing through them. Buu was the one they were surprised by, as he swiftly dodged the spikes. Vegeta and Black assumed it was because he knew what the move entailed, but Goku realized something else. Buu had moved similarly to Whis. It wasn't the same flair, but it was as if he was trying to mimic him. It made sense after all. One of Buu's main techniques is the power of copying abilities from fighters. In essence, Buu was trying to copy Whis' Ultra Instinct. It was nowhere near perfect, but it saved him. But it couldn't save him from the relentless onslaught unleashed by merged Zamasu, who released several clones and tried to turn everyone into candy. Buildings left and right were turned into candy canes and chocolate bars. Buu tried to counteract it, but did take a few bites out of buildings here and there. He was caught in the middle of a maelstrom of kicks and punches, brought down to the ground until Vegeta flashed through with a Gallic gun, saving Buu. He told him that he'd better not get himself killed before releasing Trunks. He wasn't sure if Buu was worth all this trouble. The fighters were able to keep Black at bay for now, by working all together, but it was starting to weigh them down. He was clearly going a little insane, as while Goku and Vegeta distracted Black, Buu came down from the sky and sliced clear through the middle of him. But the enemy simply reformed himself, or at least tried to. It seemed like the absorption of the immortal Zamasu had doubled his insanity, as he began to convulse, melting onto himself. He fired a candy beam at Buu, which he barely managed to dodge, but it was just getting him away, as Black then lifted his arm up to the sky and fired a storm of bullets. Vegeta and Goku tried to save civilians, as Buu cared more about just finally stopping Black, but it was no use. There were too many of them, and a few struck Goku and Vegeta. They were able to save Mai, Yajirobe, and a few others, but not everyone was lucky. Black laughed as he turned more buildings into candy. Just then, Gowazu and Shin arrived. Shin had promised Goku that he would help with the issue after it was revealed that Zamasu was trying to kill Gowazu in the present. The situation was extremely dire, as Black then focused on Gowazu and attacked. Goku and Vegeta got in the way, but a candy beam forced them to grab Gowazu and roll out of there. He was aiming to eat them all, a fate too good for them, Black said. Gowazu could tell the difference in power was too great, and he suggested using the Potara to fuse. Vegeta did not want to do this. Goku grabbed Vegeta and told him that if they fail now, not only will the universe be destroyed, but their own timeline will suffer the same fate. Not only will Trunks die within Buu, but young Trunks, Bulma, and everyone else they love. Vegeta accepted and placed the nearing on. The battle came to a standstill then, as a being pushed Buu and Black away from each other by landing in the middle. "Come on, Buu, we can't slow down now," Vegito said with a cocky smirk. Zamasu's stance grotesquely deformed, dripping with unstable, glowing ooze. The air cackles with energy as Super Buu kicks off the battle, stretching his arm and morphing his hand into a massive sword. He slashes through the air, sending waves of energy towards merged Zamasu, who raised a shield of dark ki to block the attacks. Vegito Blue seized the moment, darting forward and engaging Zamasu in a high-speed melee. His fists were a blur, marking the monster's body. Zamasu focused on parrying Vegito's assault as Super Buu calls out,
"Catch this!"
and unleashed a pink finish buster. The energy hits Zamasu from behind, throwing him off balance and allowing Vegito to land a powerful uppercut, sending Zamasu up to the sky. As he recovers, he senses an intense aura from below, looking down to see Buu and Vegito standing back to back, arms up to the sky as they released a final heat dome attack. Zamasu tries to dodge it, but his whole left side is struck, screaming out in pain as he falls down into the candy-filled city. With Zamasu weakened, Super Buu launched bits of his body to pin him against the wall. Zamasu tries to free himself, but it's too late. Vegito steps back, his hands glowing with blue energy as he prepares a devastating spirit sword. By his side, Buu held onto Trunks' sword, filling it with dark Majin energy as the two burst forward. Zamasu finally frees himself and starts to fire blast at the two, but the Z fighters swirl around each other, avoiding the ki bullets, until they swing their swords across Zamasu's body, splitting him apart along with the building he was pressed against. The ground shakes as Zamasu's screams echo, his body unable to control this immense power, as if his very being was incompatible. He instead began to disintegrate. It seemed like it was over, as Vegito defused used, and Super Buu finally released Trunks after Vegeta yelled him to do so. The future warrior looked around as he remembered the difficult battle. Trunks thanked them all, but as they celebrated, Gowazu and Shin yelled to watch out, as the sparkles that were once Zamasu were now forming into something in the sky. Only Zamasu's bottom half remained. They didn't know how to stop it, but Buu did, and he was hungry. Before the body could completely disappear, Buu used his time skip to appear before Zamasu, stretching his whole body over the god to cover it, as Zamasu's presence was spreading around. But almost as if he was extinguishing a flame, slowly, Buu was able to wrap himself around Zamasu and absorb him onto himself. Goku and Vegeta tried to stop him at first before realizing that this may be their only chance to save the future. But Buu's body was releasing so much steam that it began to cover the entire city. His ki was rising to an incredible degree until it finally calmed down. With a wave of his hand, Goku moved away the steam to reveal a new Buu, one standing tall, wearing the Kaioshin garb. He was smarter, more articulate, but above all, powerful. The Z-Fighters were a little scared, but Buu simply walked up to them.
Problem solved. The god's done for.
They were worried about what this could mean, but as soon as he started eating the chocolate, they all settled down. He seemed like regular old Buu, but just a little meaner and maybe smarter. Either way, Trunks was grateful. Buu was still acting relatively normal and civil, and even fell asleep prior to departing home. But he did say something that made Trunks worry. Trunks began to make plans to rebuild with Mai. However, Buu commented on how the efforts of the mortals are ultimately tragic. Trunks had to rebuild after the androids, only to Black appear. It seemed futile, as if it was just a matter of time until another crazed monster appeared. It was a very dark sentiment, and Trunks actually turned to Buu and stared him down. Buu may not exactly be immortal, but that doesn't mean he gets to look down upon them. Buu snapped out of it and said that he didn't mean it like that. It was just a shame. Buu did eventually help rebuild, thanks to his magic powers, but slowly began to doze off. Eventually, the Z-Fighters returned back home and finally rested for a bit. Once they were settled, Beerus and Whis appeared. Goku and Vegeta had been waiting for this, as they wanted Buu to release Zamasu, so Buu can get rid of him. But there's an issue. Buu has actually been asleep for a while. The fight against Zamasu took a lot out of him, and now he was in deep slumber. They went to Mr. Satan's house to confirm, and the Z-Fighters looked curiously at Beerus as he circled around Buu. He could sense Zamasu's energy within, but there was little he could do. Even if Buu does release Zamasu, Beerus just can't kill an immortal. The best thing for them to do now is to keep him within him. Goku did admit that Buu was a lot stronger thanks to this, and that it would be useful during the Tournament of Power. Everyone turned to look at Goku as he explained what he meant. Unlike the original, where Trunks has no timeline to return to, does indeed have one here, so there's less heat on him to leave. So, after much asking from Goku and Vegeta, Beerus agrees to allow him in the tournament. Meanwhile, they would place Buu in the time chamber for the time being, so he will wake up in time for the tournament. The next greatest adventure is right around the corner. Thank you so much for watching, guys, and a special thank you to the patrons of the channel, who get to watch videos like this early. And if you're looking for more Dragon Ball content, be sure to check out my full story of what if Piccolo had orange early, and what if Goku trained Caulifla. See you guys next week for the Tournament of Power.